Well, joining us now for a review of the prerogative of mercy list by President Tinubu is Frank Tietie. He's a human rights lawyer and Rise analyst. Thank you so much for joining us on Newsnight. Good to have you. It's been a while too. Now, this back and forth over a prerogative of mercy. First off, does the president have the powers to review prerogative of mercy after we were told, Nigerians were told that it went through, due process, having consulted with the, Council of State and all of that? You would think that it has gone through the grinding mill before, coming out. What do you make of this? Does the president have the power to review?
Oh, well, I think it offends the powers of the president for anybody to call for the review of an act of the president pursuant to section 175 that has been sealed and communicated to the Nigerian public and that has been technically accepted by the persons who benefited from it. It's very offensive to the principle of presidential federalism for anybody to think that he can reverse an act of the president. It's not possible. And the act of the president, when he's exercising his discretion in his personal capacity, has a tone of finality and cannot be reviewed even by the courts or any other authority. Even the president himself cannot review it. Because if we are talking about the seal, the signature of the president that has been attached to a certain document that has passed through, the consultation of the Council of State and then communicated, it cannot be. You see, we cannot make a mockery continually of our presidential system as if we revel in this third world status by which we operate our government. It's not possible. Irrespective of how bad you consider the list to be, government runs on certain principles. Now, as we speak, there could be a reason why that list could be reviewed only on the grounds of fraud and misrepresentation. That is, those persons who advise the president, whether from the Office of the National Security Advisor, whether from the Office of the Secretary to the Government of Federation, or to the Chief of Staff of the President, if they, for example, committed fraud or misrepresented certain facts to the president, then on that basis, the president will now announce that for such and such a reason, which he did not, reflect his discretionary power, he is reversing it. You cannot just tell the Nigerian people to whom belongs sovereignty of this country. The president, you see, the powers of the president are so constitutional in the sense that the entire powers, the executive powers of the federation are concentrated in the man. And you see, when he now decides to exercise discretion to pardon somebody, nobody, even himself, cannot reverse it. So it's just unfortunate that this is happening. But what is going to the implication is that it's going to expose the presidency not only to ridicule but to serious investigation, serious scrutiny to see to what extent and how possible did you have those names. Understandably, states can actually carry out certain deals with bad guys. Right. Instead of allowing 1 million or 100,000 kidnappers to be on the prowl, get one of them, let's do a deal, and then promise that if this deal, if the information you are passing out, if it becomes fruitful and we catch or eliminate certain number of kidnappers, we will advise the president to pardon you. Right. Now, so there's really nothing wrong, and one would have expected the presidency to explain the reason why it gave out that list, not to take the lazy approach of just kowtowing to public, criticism. Yeah. If that is the case, the president ought to. Because many Nigerians cried out against the removal of subsidy in such a manner, the president ought to have reversed it. Many Nigerians cried out against, tariffs in electricity. The president ought to have reversed it. You don't run a government that way. A president is not moved before the president applies the seal of the Nigerian president. It's not about Bola Ahmed Tinubu. It's about the protection of the exalted office of our president. Okay. You cannot subject him to this, topsy-turvydom by one sort of public opinion. You don't know the things, the secret things that go in government. Okay. So the president's spokesman ought to have explained and not take the lazy and easy way out of just reversing it and making a mockery of our presidency. It's not acceptable.
All right, Frank JJ, just looking at the statement released by the presidency today, the second paragraph reads thus: following consultations with the Council of State and public opinion on the matter, the president directed a further review of the initially approved list for consideration in furtherance of the president's discretionary powers under Section 175, subsection 1 and 2 of the 1999 Constitution as amended. That's the statement of the presidency. And I thought I should highlight that because you did raise some questions about that. But my question really to you is that this decision has also gained mixed reactions. Some have said this shows, the review of the clemency shows that there's a listening government in power.
No, it's not about that. If we had a listening president in power, like I just mentioned, he would have reversed the subsidy removal. He would have reversed the increase in tariffs. So, have reversed many of the loans that we intended and we ultimately borrowed. You see, at the time the president signed the first list, it was a completed act that he no longer had power to reverse. You know, and it was already accepted. And you see, the good thing about it is that we have courts that will interpret this ultimately. So the president does not have power to convict anybody. As at the time he had completed the pardon of these persons, they were all free. The president is not the judiciary. Section 5 of the Constitution confers in him all the powers, the executive powers of the Federation. But on that note, he has exercised those powers. He can no longer exercise judicial powers by saying, no, I no longer consider you fit for pardon, and I want you to go back to prison. The president cannot do that. It's not within his remit. It's not within his constitutional remit. So the good thing is that we have records. So it will be tested. We have people, an offer was made by the president of pardon, and then they have accepted. President, you can no longer take back your pardon. It doesn't matter whether you go back to the Council of State. You are therefore at that point exercising judicial powers, which you do not have as president.
So now that should one say the damage has been done? Those who were in the first list and are not on this second list, whatever the second list is, whose names have been removed from that initial pardon, what exactly can they do? Can they have, or do they have legal recourse?
They are pardoned by the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And so the second list does not have any effect. So they have to take action. I expect them to go to court immediately and claim whatever the president has given to them. You see, that's a better and easier way for the presidency. Right. Rather, because if you must, if you look at from common, precedents, if the only reason the president is saying he's reviewing the list is because there's a fraud. It's because somebody put a name there that he didn't approve.
Not meant to be there in the first place. Okay.
It doesn't matter. No matter how you feel bad that there were drug offenders, sex traffickers, or kidnappers, or murderers there, it doesn't matter. We're talking about the person that represents the entire sovereignty of this country.
Right.
You don't mess him up. When he takes a decision, you assume that there must be a higher reason, much higher than yours, because he's at his disposal are pieces of information that the ordinary man does not have.
All right, very quickly, two decisions that were also made today. The president moved the prerogative of Mercy Secretariat from the Ministry of Special Duties to the Ministry of Justice under the Attorney General. And then he also asked the Attorney General to put in place measures to ensure that this does not recur.
So what
Frank, I know you want to jump in there.
No. I don't like the presidency of my country.
Wait, Frank Tietie. Because, people will ask, why are we moving this? Does it change anything? Since the Attorney General was also a part of the committee. In fact, the head of the committee from the get-go.
See, let me tell you something. It's at the president's discretion to set up a committee. The understanding of Section 175 is that the president himself decides to dename anybody that he wants to forgive. He wants to show mercy and give pardon. That settles it. But you see, what the presidency is doing, which is offensive which should be offensive to constitutional law practice, is that you cannot now fail to give the reason why you are reviewing the list. And we're saying, and the presumption is that there was fraud somewhere. Who is that fraudulent person that put certain names in that list that the president didn't approve and then applied the president's seal? That the presidency cannot run away from it. And I'm telling you,
Right.
If we have proper investigative journalists here, they should go and meet every one person on the previous list, on the first list, which I consider as a valid list, and ask questions.
Okay.
There were things that happened. People, there were exchanges, there were deals that were made, and I don't have any problem with it so long as the president, in his constitutional power under Section 175, considers it is in the best interest of Nigeria.
Okay.
Nobody should reduce the powers of the president in this manner, and it's embarrassing. It's not because it's President Tinubu today. We need to protect the presidency for this country, for our future, for our stability, and not subject it to this kind of ping pong and reduce it like this. If that's the case, then let us now mount up so much pressure on the presidency. It will change whatever decision it has taken before. That's a joke. Is that why they gave him so much powers under Section 5 of the Constitution?
What you're saying is a bad precedent. Well, it does seem like it's a case of damned if you do, damned if you don't. You know, and like they say, I mean, governance is not a popularity contest.
Who put those
we have to say
there?
thank you very much, Frank Tietie, for joining us on Arise News.